Well, well, well. Good day. It is Sunday, July 14th, the day after the Fatima anniversary, the apparition at Fatima of the vision of hell. And the devil sure keeps this world busy with actions on that day. I'm not going to say anything about that other than the Three Dog Night song, "The Show Must Go On." The only thing I will say is that we do know, if you follow here, that the banking system is collapsing. This fiat system that's been in place for, at least 100 plus years is falling apart, and we are coming into some very, very, very interesting times. So let me say good day to Denise and Maria and CW, CJ, Rosemarie, and Elaine. I'm glad to see you all here. And thank you, CJ, for your prayer and insight on the chat on the website. We're going to continue with, and if any, just to say one more word, if those of you who aren't already aware, you do know that I am promoting a Catholic everything, society, government, world, etc. And what's happening now, at least in the United States and other places, is that transition to it. And we have to kind of give it a little bit of slack to go through its leavingness. I'm not using very good English, but as it exits, then maybe we call it secular exit instead of Brexit. So continue your prayers. One other thing too is son Ben is going through a very difficult detox. You may see him try to come in and say hello in his stressed state, just to give you a heads up. All right, we're going to continue, however, with St. Catherine of Siena. And again, some really insightful words from her. Good day, Andrew, and your family as well, mom, etc. So let's get right to morning prayers and then to Catherine of Siena. And if thoughts pop into my head about anything that is due to come out, I will let you know and I will tell you. In nomine Dei, Matronum Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Let us place ourselves in the presence of the Trinitarian Theophany and in Catholic contemplation. Humbly venerate the Divine Family. So anytime there is a dramatic change in the financial systems of a country, a nation, a world, the PTB always create distractions. One of them being, one of the major ones being war. It takes the focus off of the money changers and onto this rah patriotism silliness. But as Catholics, we know that all of us, nobody's different between nations in a sense, in a Catholic sense of their relationship to the Trinitarian Theophany. So it is our duty and job to try and explain that to the world and to people and our neighbor so that they can, not get caught up in like what's happening right now with many family chats across the nation, this just complete absorption in a distraction and a focus away from outing those who are the cause of many of our ills. So, most holy Trinitarian Theophany, one divine family, I believe that thou art here present. I venerate thee with the deepest humility. I render to thee with my whole heart the homage which is due to thee. O Trinitarian Theophany, relying on thine infinite goodness and promises, I hope to obtain the pardon of my sins, the help of thy grace, and life everlasting, through the merits of Deum Iesum Christum et Deam Matronam Nostrae. O Trinitarian Theophany, I love thee above all things with my whole heart and soul, because thou art all good and worthy of all love. I love my neighbor as myself for love of thee, and I forgive all who have injured me and ask pardon of all whom I have injured. Let us thank the Trinitarian Theophany for the many graces that we receive and offer ourselves and our sufferings up to heaven and the souls in purgatory. O Trinitarian Theophany, I most humbly thank thee for all the favors thou hast bestowed upon me to the present moment. It is again thanks to thy bounty that I should live to see this day, and I desire to employ it solely in thy service. I consecrate to thee all my thoughts, words, actions, and sufferings of this day. Sanctify them, that there may be none that is not animated by thy love, or that would not tend to thy greater glory. Let us make a firm resolution to avoid evil and to do good, and let us beg of the Trinitarian Theophany the graces which are necessary to us. O Trinitarian Theophany, thou knowest my weakness, and that I am unable to do anything good without the help of thy grace. Deny me not thy grace, O Trinitarian Theophany, proportionate to my necessities. Give me strength to avoid everything which thou forbiddest, to practice the good which thou hast commanded, and enable me patiently to bear all the trials which it may please thee to send me. O Deum Matronam Nostrae, I place myself under thy protection. I throw myself with confidence into the arms of thy compassion. Be to me, O Mother of Mercy, my refuge in distress, my consolation in suffering, now and at the hour of my death. O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I am heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins, because I dread the loss of heaven and the pains of hell, but most of all because they offend thee, O most holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, who are all good and deserving of all my love. I firmly resolve, with the help of thy grace, to confess my sins, to do penance, and to amend my life. The dialogue of St. Catherine of Siena continued, and this was dictated by her while in the state of ecstasy to her secretaries, and completed in the year of Deum Iesum Christum of 1370. And also in the back here, together with an account of her death by an eyewitness. So that should be interesting when we get to that. So we're going to start the second treatise, a treatise of discretion. How the affection should not place reliance chiefly on penance, but rather on virtues, and how discretion receives life from humility and renders to each man his due. Quote, "These are the holy and sweet works which I seek from my servants. These are the proved intrinsic virtues of the soul, as I have told thee. They not only consist of those virtues which are done by means of the body, that is, with an exterior act, or with diverse and varied penances, which are the instruments of virtue. Works of penance performed alone without the above-mentioned virtues would please me little. Often, indeed, if the soul perform not her penance with discretion, that is to say, if her affection be placed principally in the penance she has undertaken, her perfection will be impeded. She should rather place reliance on the affection of love, with a holy hatred of herself accompanied by true humility and perfect patience, together with the other intrinsic virtues of the soul, with hunger and desire for my honor and the salvation of souls. For these virtues demonstrate that the will is dead and continually slays its own sensuality through the affection of love of virtue. With this discretion, then, should the soul perform her penance. That is, she should place her principal affection in virtue rather than in penance. Penance should be but the means to increase virtue, according to the needs of the individual, and according to what the soul sees she can do in the measure of her own possibility. Otherwise, if the soul places her foundation on penance, she will contaminate her own perfection, because her penance will not be done in the light of knowledge of herself and of my goodness, with discretion, and she will not seize hold of my truth, neither loving that which I love, nor hating that which I hate. This virtue of discretion is no other than of true knowledge, which the soul should have of herself and of me. And in this knowledge is virtue rooted. Discretion is the only child of self-knowledge, and wedding with charity has indeed many other descendants, as a tree which has many branches. But that which gives life to the tree, to its branches and its root, is the ground of humility, in which it is planted, which humility is the foster mother and nurse of charity, by whose means this tree remains in the perpetual calm of discretion. Because otherwise the tree would not produce the virtue of discretion, or any fruit of life, if it were not planted in the virtue of humility, because humility proceeds from self-knowledge. And I have already said to thee that the root of discretion is a real knowledge of self and of my goodness, by which the soul immediately and discreetly tenders to each one his due, chiefly to me in rendering praise and glory to my name, and in referring to me the graces and the gifts which she sees and knows she has received from me, in rendering to herself that which she sees herself to have merited, knowing that she does not even exist of herself, and attributing to me and not to herself her being, which she knows she has received by grace from me, and every other grace which she has received besides. And she seems to herself to be ungrateful for so many benefits, and negligent in that she has not made the most of her time and the graces she has received, and so seems to herself worthy of suffering, wherefore she becomes odious and displeasing to herself through her guilt. and this founds the virtue of discretion on knowledge of self, that is, on true humility. For were this humility not in the soul would be indiscreet, indiscretion being founded on pride, as discretion is on humility. An indiscreet soul robs me of the honor due to me and attributes it to herself through vainglory, and that which is really her own she imputes to me, grieving and murmuring concerning my mysteries, with which I work in her soul and in those of my other creatures. Wherefore everything in me and in her neighbor is cause of scandal to her. Contrariwise, those who possess the virtue of discretion, for when they have rendered what is due to me and to themselves, they proceed to render to their neighbor their principal debt of love, and of humble and continuous prayer, which all should pay to each other, and further the debt of doctrine and example of a holy and honorable life, counseling and helping others according to their needs for salvation, as I said to thee above. Whatever rank a man be in, whether that of a noble, a prelate, or a servant, if he has this virtue, everything that he does to his neighbor is done discreetly and lovingly, because these virtues are bound and mingled together, and both planted in the ground of humility, which proceeds from self-knowledge. We'll stop there for today. Tomorrow will be a parable showing how love, humility, and discretion are united, and how the soul should conform herself to this parable. Deum vobiscum, et quoque apotei. Oremus. O God, the Creator and Redeemer of all the faithful, grant to the souls of thy servants and handmaids the remission of all their sins, that they may obtain by loving prayers the forgiveness which they have always desired, who livest and reignest with thee, one Trinitarian Theophany, forever and ever. Suscipe Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum hoc immaculatum hostium, quam ego indignus famulus tuus offeri tibi Deum meum vivum verum, pro innumerabilibus peccatis et offensionibus, et negligentiis meis, et promnibus, circumstantibus, sera promnibus, fidelibus catholicorum, vivis atque defunctis ut mihi proficiat ad salutem. Deum qui humanae substantiae dignitatem miribiditu contradisi et miribidus reformasti, nobis spiritus atquae et vini mysterium eius divinitatis esse consortes, qui humanitatis nostrae fieri dignatis est patriceps, Deum Iesum Christum Filium, qui tecum vivit et regnat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Offerimus tibi Deum calicem salutaris tuum da pacantis clementium, ut conspecto divinae majestatis tuae, pro nostra totius mundi salute, cum adore suavitatis ascendat. In spiritu humilitatis et in animo contrito suscipiamur te Deum Iesum Christum, et sequiet sacrificium nostrum in conspecto tu hodie, uplacia tibi Deum matronam nostrae, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Veni Sanctificator. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, et sanctificite blata prosequendo, et a capere hoc sacrificium tuo sancto nomini praeparatum. Suscipe Sancta Trinitas Sunc oblationum quam tibi efferimus, a memoriam passionis, resurrectionis, et ascensionis, Deum Iesum Christum, et in honoram Dei Matronam Nostrae, et a Papa Pater Sanctorum, et istorum et omnium Sanctorum, ut idis proficiat ad honorem nobis autem ad salutem, et idi pro nobis intercedere, dignentur in caelis, quorum amorem agimus in teri spiritum Christum Deum nostrum. Orate, ut meum ac vestrum sacrificium acceptabile fiat ab Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Suscipiat Deum Iesum Christum sacrificium de manibus tuis ad laudam et gloriam nominis sui, ad utilitatem quoque nostram totiusque ecclesiae suae sanctae. Deum vobiscum, quoque apud te, sursum corda habemus ad Deum, gratias agamus Deum nostrum, dignum justum est. Haec quotescum proficieditis meum onum Te igitur clementissimi Mater et Pater, Deum Matron Nostra et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per Deum Iesum Christum Filium Tuum Deum Nostrae, supplices rogamus ac petimus, uti accepta habeas, et sanctificas, haec sanctam sacrificium idibata. In primis quae tibi afferimus, pro ecclesiam tuam sanctam catholicam, quam pacificare, custodire, adonare et regere, digneris toto obiterarum atque catholicae. Memento Deum famulorum famulorum. We pray for the sick and the suffering. We pray for Katie, Gage, Caitlin, Mindy, Clarette, Neil and Earl Lively, Mark Jr., Maria Josephina Mose, Henry, Barbara, and Benedict Santa Croce, Casey, Mr. Nobody, Ann Butink, the Cantu and Duarte families, the Kendrick family, the Cahill, Lineweber, Dasco, Nye, Tafor, Began, and Wolf families, Jenna, Lena, Lori, Aaron, and family, and Maria Lineweber. We pray for Mr. Nobody to receive the funding and strength needed to complete the first Sede Vacantis Catholic Council office in Monastery of Illinois. We pray for an end to all governmental allowance or sanctioning of abortion, transgenderism, transhumanism, child trafficking, child abuse of any kind, anywhere, place, or time. We pray for the establishment of a Catholic monarchy with a sound Catholic system of labor and recognizing the human value of people, workers, and their families, with a sound medium of exchange with no usury. We pray for Catholic courageous men to step forward as leaders of this society. We pray that people don't get caught up in the lies of the shows that are being presented to them through television and the internet. We pray for wisdom on how to grow natural foods, how to raise animals cleanly. We pray for the elimination of all harmful radiation waves in our air and in our homes, to shut down CERN, close all gateways and portals, send any demons that have come through those portals back to hell. We pray to make known publicly who murdered St. Lucia. We ask for the conversion of all sinners trapped in a state of mortal sin, especially the ignorant. And we ask all those actors in Washington, D.C. to put away their acting clothes and to walk away. We ask for a reversal of the feminist ideology and a return to godly femininity. We ask that all pornography and the OnlyFans platform be banned, as well as all quote-unquote gay marriage. We also ask that lying cease, and that it especially cease in police actions and courtrooms. We ask that the satanic document of Vatican law that is the Jewish Talmud be destroyed, as well as Rome and the Vatican, and recognize the transfer of the authority of the Catholic Church to be in Fatima, Portugal, where the dogma of the faith is preserved. We also ask you to block the passage of any so-called pandemic treaty by the WHO, again based on lies and deceptions. We ask Deum Matronam Nostrae to also save or transfer the souls from under the dominion of any Jew or Freemason, especially as they give support to Israel. All these things we ask in accordance with the Trinitarian Theophany's holy and divine will. Et omnium circumstantium quorum tibi fides cognita est et nota devotio, pro quibus tibi afferimus, vel qui tibi affrontox sacrificium laudis, pro sesuisque omnibus, pro redemptione anamano suarum, pro spe salutis et calamitatis suae, tibi queridum vota sua aeterno Deum vivo et vero, communicantes et memoriam venerantes in primis gloriosae, semper Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et beatorum martyrium tuorum papae Sancti Petri, et Sancti Lucia, et Sancti Jacinta, et Sancti Francisco, et Sancti Juan Diego, et omnium sanctorum tuorum quorum meditis precibusque cancedas, ut in omnibus protectiones tuae muniam exidio per indum Christum Deum nostrum. Quam oblationem te Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum in omnibum consecratem a capta pedunque fecere dignitis ut nobis corpum, et sanguim fiat directissimi filium tuum, Deum Iesum Christum. Qui pridie, quam pateretor recepit panem sancta sac venerabilis manus suas, et erevatis oculis. In caelum a te Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum suum omnipotentem tibi gratias agens, consecravit, fregit idique lunis sui dicens, accipite et mandocate ex hoc omnes. Hoc est enim corpus meum. Simili modo postquam ceremonia est, accipiens, et hunc prae clarum cadicem in sancta sac venerabilis manus suas, item tibi gratias agens, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, consecravit, dedique luminis sui dicens, accipite et bibite ex omnes. Hic est enim calix sanguinis mei, mysterium fidei, quae pro nobis et pro multis effundetur in remissione peccatorum, aequates cum purificeritis in memor faciatis. Unde et memoris Deum non servitui, sed plebs tua sancta, justum Christum filium tuum Deum nostrae, tam beate passionis nec non et eben feris resurrectionis, sed et in caelos gloriosae ascensionis afferimus, praeclare maiestati tuae, de tuis donis actatis, supra quae propitio axareno vutu respicere digneris. Supplices te, rogamus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, iube hec perfide manus tuum, ut quod, ex hoc altaris participationis sacrosanctum Deum filium tuum, corpus et sanguinem sincerimus, omni benedit sanctificatione, caelestia gratia Dei per amor, per indum Christum Deum nostrae. We pray for those who have died. We especially pray for Donald Clemens, for whom this Mass is being offered. Ipsis Deum et omnibum in Christum quiscentibum locum refugirii lucis et pacis, ut odorge est prac amor per indum Christum Deum nostrum, per quem hic omnia Deum Iesum Christum semper bona creas, sanctificas, vivicas, consecratis et praestas nobis. Per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso est ibi Deum Matrum omnipotenti in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, omnis honor et gloria. Ave Dea, Matronam Nostrae, gratia plena, Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum tecum. Dea Matronam Nostrae, Materam Deum Iesum Christum, misericordia nobis, peccatoribus nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Libera nos, quae sumus Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, ab omnibus malis, praeteritis, praesentibus et futuris, et intercedente beata, gloriosa semper Dea Matronam Nostrae, cum Papa Petrum Sanctorum et omnibus sanctis da propitiis pacem in diebus nostris, ut ope misericordiae tuae aduiti et peccato, simus semper liberi et omni perturbatione securi. Periendum Deum nostrum Iesum Christum, filium tuum Deum nostrum, qui tecum vivit et reinat in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per aeternam. Pax Deum Iesum Christum sit semper vobiscum, et quoque apud te. Haec mixtio et consecratio cuperis et sanguinis, Deum Iesum Christum fiat accipientibus nobis in ad salutem aeternam. Pax tecum, et quoque apud te. Deum Iesum Christum, qui ex voluntate Deum Matronam Nostrae, qua prante Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum, per mortem tuam unum vivicasti, libera me per hoc sacro sanctum corpus et sanguinum, tuum ab omnibus iniquitatibus meis, et una versis malis, et fac me tue semper in harare mandatis, et a te numquam separare permittas, qui cum eo dem Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum vivis et reinam aeternam. Perceptio corporis tui Deum Iesum Christum, quod ego indinius sumere praesumo non mihi provini ad in judicium et condemnationem, sed pro tua pietate prosit mihi ad utumentementis corporis, et ad me delam percipiendam, qui vivis et reinas cum Deum Matronam Nostrae, in unitate Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Panem calestem accipiam et nomen Deum Iesum Christum invocabo. Deum Matronam Nostrae non sunt dignius, ut intercedete me, Sancta Requeris nabater anima mea. Deum Iesum Christum non sunt dignius, ut intercedete me, Sancta Requeris nabater anima mea. Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum non sunt dignius, ut intercedete me, Sancta Requeris nabater anima mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Quid retribuum Deum Iesum Christum, pro omnibus quae retribuit mihi, calicem salutaris accipiam in nomen Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum invocabo. Laudan simulcabo Deum matronam nostrae, et ab inimicis meis salvus ero. Sanguis Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet anima mea. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Corpus Deum nostrum Iesum Christum custodiet animam tuum. Quodori subsumus Deum Iesum Christum puramente capeamus et immunere temperae fit nobis remedium sempiternum. Corpus tuum Deum Iesum Christum, quod subsit sanguis quempet have et hariat visceribus meis et praesta, ut in me non remaniat, scelera macula quem pura et sancta reficerunt sacramenta. Deum vobiscum, quoque apote. Oremus. May the prayer of thy suppliants profit the souls of thy servants and handmaids, we beseech thee, O Trinitarian Theophany, that thou mayest free them from all sins and make them sharers in thy redemption, who livest and reignest with thee, one Trinitarian Theophany, forever and ever. Deum vobiscum, quoque apote. Ite missa est. Deum gratia. Placeat tibi sancta Trinitas sacrum servitudis meae, et praesta ut sacrificium, quod oculis tua maestatis in unus auctoritibus et captabili et omnibus, pro quibus idut auctolis siti miserante perpetuabit per Christum Deum nostrum. Sanctificat vos omnipotens Deum, Matronam et Filium et Spiritum Sanctum, Deum Matronam Nostrae, Deum Iesum Christum et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gratias. O Trinitarian Theophany, I believe, I venerate, I hope, and I love thee. I beg of thee pardon for those who do not believe, do not venerate, do not hope, and do not love thee. Most Holy Trinitarian Theophany, Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. I venerate thee profoundly, and I offer to thee the most precious body, blood, soul, and divinity of Deum Iesum Christum present here, in reparation for the outrages, sacrileges, and indifference by which he himself is offended, and through the infinite merits of his most sacred heart and immaculate heart of Deum Matronam Nostrae, I beg of thee the conversion of poor sinners. In nomine Deum Matronam Nostrae, et Deum Iesum Christum, et Deum Patrum Spiritum Sanctum. Gracias. Thank you for coming today and in your steadfastness and your virtue of perseverance, staying with me and spreading the word. Again, yesterday's event was more than likely, well, not more than likely, it was a distraction as to whether or not it was real. That is left to those who get to see his ear this morning. So there's a lot of acting techniques that can be used, as well as crisis actors that can be paid. We don't know, okay? And it's better to stay out of those discussions other than mentioning we don't know. But we do know that our currencies, that we are in the middle of a currency collapse. Okay, so that's where we need to be, well, not where we need to put all our focus, but we need to focus on what they're trying to hide so that we can reestablish that Catholic system, of course, the Catholic Church first, and, continue with our process of salvation of souls and helping others to get to heaven. And thank you, St. Catherine of Siena, for your insights and for giving us your book there. It's very helpful. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you can take something away from it. Hope you can go and contemplate on it. And we'll see you tomorrow. Please go and sanctify all those who you meet. Have a great day.